What's happening, team? And welcome back to a brand new episode on the Simply podcast. It's been a while, but we're back after a break for no real apparent reason. Well, maybe me dying slightly was
Scheduling.
part of the reason. Scheduling as well, yeah. There's been a lot happening.
Got a
which
lot
I'm
of
sure
got a
we'll
lot of
touch on a little.
streams, and shorts and stuff like that. So the content was still there, just we weren't able to sit down and record a podcast.
Yeah, I blame Remmy for it all, to be honest. But you know, it's what it is. You know what, team? If you are obviously new into here, do please follow the podcast if you can. On YouTube, Spotify, and Nance TV. Make sure you are following the podcast wherever you can. But yes, team, we've got a nice little packed podcast for you today, and we're going to be talking about some very controversial topics today, about one of them in particular, about the streaming services. So if you really want to hear about a lot of the information that I put together, I was going to be making a separate video on it, but I thought, you know what, I'll do this on the podcast. I'll get Remy's views on it, on some of the things that I've researched.
Because I've purposely asked them not to tell me certain things about this, so that the reaction is more genuine, because I'm not as up to date on all of this crap.
Yeah, if I had to say that I've spent about 3 to 4 weeks researching everything, and the reason I chose not to make a video on this separately is because the information keeps changing constantly. So I felt like podcast was probably a better area to do this on, and yeah, we're gonna pretty much just crack straight into it. So sit back, relax, get yourself a snack. If you're listening to this on Spotify, keep doing what you're doing. If you're running and listening to this podcast, well done, because you're fitter than I am. So let's rock and roll with this. So yes, one of the things that I was going to be doing a video on separately was obviously about all the streaming services, and particularly the newest one to hit the scene, which is Kick. Now, this has had a lot of backlash over the last kind of few months, but mainly because of the owners funding the website, which is known as Stake.com. Stake.com is an online gambling casino that deal with likes of crypto and stuff like that, and it's had a lot of bad rep. Now, their bad rep particularly comes from a period on Twitch where slots were constant. The likes of Aiden Ross and some of this in Trainwreck were all funded by Stake and were given basically pre-funded purses where they could basically use Stake's money to gamble with. They were given stupid amounts of money. We're talking like £1 million to go gamble on the website with. And Stake isn't losing any money because all they're doing is they're putting their own money into the slots and getting that money back. And if the streamer was winning, it was appearing like they were getting these great hype moments because they were getting these pre-funded purses that realistically were fake.
Did they like alter the odds with these streamers?
No, the games and everything stayed the same.
Okay.
But the fact was that realistically,
Still shitty.
it didn't look like they were losing money, and that's the dangerous part. That's the part that really gets people, because Twitch had this go ongoing for a while, and this was a big problem on Twitch, where there were certain websites that realistically they noticed there was a market for being able to convince people to move over to gambling websites by paying these streamers basically to stream their website. And Trainwreck pointed out something. He was making stupid amounts of money. I think there was a video that came out saying he made something around about 100 million from these streams from Stake.com, and just Stake.com alone literally paid him stupid amount of money because he was getting massive amounts of people coming in to watch these streams, and Stake were making stupid amount of money from the people that were going from these streams onto the gambling websites. Now, Trainwreck is one of the ones I've pointed out here. Obviously, he right now for Kick is kind of the main. Basically, he's the main pusher for the website. He's the kind of
surely
the
this kind of
flagship
stuff is
streamer.
illegal, like based off of like gambling laws that I'm aware of. Like on a place like Twitch, it's illegal to promote gambling to children.
Yes. So
Like, you
this
need
is
to have
where this
disclaimers.
is where the grey area came up a lot because um obviously when you would go into these streams, Twitch would then you would get the pop up that come up on the screen saying confirm that you are 18 years old,
Mm.
which obviously
Everybody hits
anyone
yes.
exactly
Oh,
yes.
drats, mister!
Yeah, exactly. And you know what?
Hold on, do you think anybody's
Did
ever hit no?
I'm sure there's probably a few people. I'm sure there's some sort of like data that shows that actually does kick in some sort of maybe ethical
Mm.
sense. Maybe some kids gone onto the stream and just gone, "Oh, I'm not 18. Is my mum gonna find out?" You know,
Mm.
I'm sure there's some sort of ethical part of it. You know, but yeah, Twitch did eventually ban some websites, and they changed a couple of their TOS, but they didn't change enough. And
Right.
right now, you can still go on to the slots on Twitch right now with people with fake purses still gambling away on certain websites that aren't banned. It's still a thing right now on Twitch. It's just not as big because the big streamers aren't streaming it on there.
Mm.
Um,
See,
so
I
like
also feel
even
like they run into the dilemma. If like they ban gambling, then that falls into like stuff like loot boxes. So other like certain games will have to be banned as well because of like laws
yeah.
being passed within the EU and stuff like that, banning these clearly gambling based systems within them.
Yeah. So obviously this all happened months ago, and when Stake was one of the sites that were banned, Stake lost like a lot of money. Basically, a lot of the people that were moving over from Twitch to Stake stopped, like, because obviously like a train wreck with his 30,000 viewers, Aiden Ross with his 30,000 viewers, all of them like not watching this, getting this false sense of winning,
Mm.
and basically seeing it as like, I want a piece of that on Twitch, and moving over to Stake thinking I'm going to get the same success, and then obviously the only people that really win at the end of the day is the house,
Oh yeah,
as they say,
the dealer
and
always
that
wins.
exactly yes, they always win that way, and obviously Stake isn't losing any money because they're just giving the money to the streamers to basically borrow, more or less. They're
Yeah.
losing all the money anyway. So yes, so obviously at this point of time, Stake is banned on Twitch, uh, and they've lost lots of money. So they come up with the idea of Kick.
So I'm
Um,
assuming during this like period when Steak was banned, because I know Aiden Ross is banned on Twitch, isn't he? Was he?
he is, but not because of
Okay,
this,
fair enough. Because I
right?
was assuming like
I,
people associated with that.
I'll come to that. Don't you worry. We're
Okay.
coming to that. So so obviously Stake at this point then see the fact that they've lost all this money, but they also see the potential of making even more money,
Hmm.
and therefore they create the streaming service Kick. Now, there's a lot of iffy things about Kick.
Now, here's the thing: is it failing or succeeding? Because I know Microsoft tried to do the same thing with Mixer.
Again, don't you worry, we're
Okay.
coming to that
Okay.
because it's going to be a matter of perspective on this, right? It really is. So, Kick, obviously funded by Stake, it's obvious what their goals are with this, right? It really is. Obviously, they want to push their gambling website as much as possible.
Scum.
So, in order for them to make money from Kick, they need to divert the traffic that comes to that site onto gambling websites. That is the like genuinely so obvious. Like that has to be the main goal. Now, what I will say immediately when I was looking at Kick, looking at their TOS, which I should have is very, very limited. But the one thing that they are strict on is gambling. Their TOS on gambling means that anyone that has a fake purse has to divulge that information on stream. That is not on Twitch. Which is quite surprising if I like just right off the bat. They also have to put on their stream if they're gambling, on Stake, to not to basically tell people not to gamble and make them aware again that they have fake purses, that this is a fake stream. So there is more TOS about gambling on Kick than what there is currently right now on Twitch, which is quite
That's
an
quite
odd
shocking.
factor.
So for anybody that
right?
doesn't know as well, the reason why this is going to be like an interesting dynamic, I am very anti-gambling. I hate it with a deep-rooted
Mm,
passion. So it
yes,
surprises me
and
that the company that's trying to make all the money that they can out of it is more strict on the thing that's paying them.
exactly, it's quite a bizarre
Mm.
dynamic, because
It seems like
it's
kind
just
of
not.
hand wavy. Oh, look at this. We're doing this. We're not that bad. But
It
somewhere behind the
definitely
curtains,
seems that
they're
way.
still screwing you.
It definitely seems, and what I will say is, from some of the other things that have come up, that there does seem to be some genuine care for the community from what I've seen. But obviously, you've always got to keep in mind, like, these companies are not your friend.
Oh yeah.
These companies are always out to make to win, and always out to make money. You've always got to remember that with every bit of information. Not Twitch, not YouTube, not
Not even the companies that you
any.
work for.
Yeah, exactly. Every company is always trying to win. They are not your friends.
All,
Bear that in mind at every
all you are
opportunity.
is just a statistic. You are
Yeah,
there to turn over revenue and profit for them. They do not care about you. That applies for all well, except like we independent small businesses, but large scale companies, they do not care.
yeah. Corporations and that, they're out to win,
Yeah.
and that is no different from Kick and Stake. They need to win. Now, this is where it gets really really tricky, right? The one thing that you'll notice about Kick is that the website looks extremely, like, literally is a carbon copy of Twitch.
Hmm.
Now,
Because
this is what
I haven't
gets a
seen the
little.
UI because I've never been on it.
Yeah, it's genuinely carbon copy. Now, the reason to why this is now, a lot of people say, "Oh, the website is just coded the same." Though they are basically the same website. Basically, Twitch use a service known as, and I'll get this right again. It is IVS Amazon. So Twitch uses this. Is basically, it is Amazon, but it is a separate part of Amazon that are the basically the service that they use for streaming, well, basically broadcasting live streams. And they get this at a massively discounted rate because obviously, um, despite the fact that Amazon owns Twitch, Twitch is a separate company and needs to pay for their services, and they pay for this IVS service for all their live streams. And I like to point out the fact that
Is that like
Twitch
the Xbox Microsoft thing? Like Microsoft owns Xbox, but it's still a separate company.
kind of,
Okay.
yeah, kind of. So obviously the fact that Twitch is paying for IVS, Twitch pointed out the fact that they had to get rid of the 70-30 split. One of the reasons was server costs. One of the reasons was the cost of this IVS. And to think that they're getting this at a massively discounted rate is kind of mad. What's even more mad is Kick is paying full price for this. And they're paying full price for this service that Twitch is struggling to afford at a discounted rate. This is where it gets really, really sketchy. How is Kick able to afford this if Twitch, that's been around for ages, still can't turn a profit because of this service?
So Twitch is not profitable.
No, not even slightly. They haven't made profit. I don't think they've announced profit. I think I think oh no, I think they did get 1 year profit over COVID.
Yeah. That would make
But
sense.
every year, like, even the statistics are showing right now that basically, I think from this time last year, viewer percentage is down on Twitch by about 11%, which is massive.
Would that be
Um,
like people switching over to YouTube?
well, that's just people stop. Like, you got to remember, obviously, Twitch got a massive fluctuation over COVID.
Oh yeah.
Of people going over to it. So obviously there was that massive dip as soon as restrictions were lifted and stuff like that, and people were able to go out. They lost a massive amount of people. I think it was I would need to double check the figures on this again.
Like
But
surely, like Amazon aren't stupid. Twitch itself may not be making money, but
don't
through
worry,
like
don't worry, Remy. I'll come to all this. Don't
okay,
you
all
worry.
right.
So obviously Twitch lost. I can't remember the exact figures, but I believe it was about 500,000 viewers in 1 year, like the average viewership for the year, they lost about 500,000 there. For this year, they've lost, I think it's about another 400,000, and this is still going to keep going down. Like this, the numbers are still inflated now. People that were latching onto to Twitch. Because they saw potential, they were trying to make it on Twitch. They are still people are still going to keep coming off Twitch. People are still, the viewership in general is going down, down, and down, and it will continue to do so. This is not exclusively with Twitch. This is on every streaming platform. This is going to be happening, and obviously the likes of Kick coming into the scene, they have now got to fight against this downwards curve of where the viewerships are going. And it's going to keep happening for, I would predict, in all honesty, for the next maybe 3 years, I think potentially it could keep going down. There's been a few people that I've listened to that I've kind of all predicted say slightly different dynamics on what they feel the actual statistics for this is going to be. Now, one of the people I highly recommend obviously listen to is a content creator known as Devin Nash. He was the one that kind of pointed out some of the facts that I genuinely had absolutely no idea, and he also gives a much higher level of information than what I'm able to give, mainly because of the service that he offers. He works in an agency where he provides advice and stuff like that for creators.
Do you know something
So
that I
therefore
find
he
quite
has to be
ironic
very.
with this?
What's that?
The thing that actually made Twitch for once make a profit, COVID, is
Mm-hmm.
the same thing that's making all streaming services uh, die off. Because essentially throughout COVID,
Mm-hmm.
nobody had the choice of anything. They couldn't go out. They couldn't essentially live. Now,
Yeah,
now that like I've seen it in so many different professions. Like because I
yeah.
get taxis to and from work fairly often, and the amount of taxi drivers that just refuse to work a weekend now because like they've almost like had their eyes open. It's like I'm spending so much time indoors, like
Mm-hmm.
driving, working, like when I could be out there, like living my life. I feel like
And you got
a
to
lot of people
and
are
you
doing
also
that.
got to take into account there was a survey produced in the States where it asked what kids wanted to be when they were older, and the number one thing right now is be a YouTuber. Everyone wants to get into content creation. The problem is, um, the amount of people that want to get into content creation and will actually be successful
Is
at content
very
creation
low.
is lower than 1%. It's about 0.01% of people that will actually be successful at content creation.
Do you think that that's
Um,
because the majority of the people that do this aren't
mm,
aware of the work that's actually
it,
required to be
yes,
successful?
100%. They're not aware of the work. Don't also have the know-how on how to make it on these
Do you
platforms.
feel
It
like that's
does.
what sets you apart with the potential? Because you're
Yes.
aware of like
You've
these.
also got to keep in mind that also content dynamic constantly changes as well.
Mm,
So different types of content, live streaming is one of these types of content that realistically it will never go away, but it is going to get, the demand for it is going to keep going down and down and down, because one thing that is evident is that the likes of YouTube and TikTok, people want content that they can scroll on their phone and
mm,
see. They want content that they can watch at their own leisure. Live streams obviously are a set structure, to the fact that you've got to be there at the time that this is going live. Well, with YouTube, you could watch part of a video at one point, come back to it and watch it another
mm,
time. You don't typically do that with live streams. Like YouTube is better than Twitch for this, with a sense that people will go back and watch VODs of live streams more on YouTube, just because I've like obviously I mean that's from my own experience. Obviously, I can't speak for every content creator, but I've seen a lot more people go about 50% of the viewership that I have over a live stream goes back and watches the VOD of a live stream that I do. That's just from my own experience. Like
mm.
obviously, it's not the same for everyone. But people want content when they're ready for it, more or less. Live streams are unfortunately they're kind of not getting the same attention that they were. And don't get me wrong, I feel like there will also be an up curve slightly at some point, because it can only, in my opinion, it can only go down so much, and eventually, say for example, Twitch does die. Say for example, Kick does die. YouTube live streams will still be about, because YouTube will still be about.
Mm.
Um, So there is a lot with each of these, and it was just when I saw those stats there that was quite alarming. But I'll come back to what I was also stating as well about this IVS service. So obviously Kick is paying full price for it right now, and that's where it gets really alarming, because if they're paying full price for it, for them to cover that cost, they need to push people to their website. They need to push people to stake. Kick has a lot of features on it that are very, very enticing for content creators, like a 95% split for creators. You get 95% of the money that is given to you, which is by far the best out of all the platforms. Like YouTube is 70-30 and Twitch is 50-50. Like you're winning on that sense for your subscriptions and the I think it's known as
Here's a
kicks.
question: is YouTube profitable?
Yes, because of their ads.
All right, fair enough.
It that one's a harder one to answer, but the short answer is yes. Overall, some areas of YouTube aren't profitable, but overall, yes, the service is profitable. Otherwise it wouldn't still be here. I haven't done a huge amount of research on. You just thrown a curveball at me there. And that one I haven't, but I know full well that I have watched some videos about it, and like I know full well it is.
Well,
I just don't know
I don't I don't have the like
nitty-gritty.
numbers of YouTube itself as part of Google or Alphabet is, but in 2022, YouTube's advertising revenue accounted for 11.35% of Google's total revenue. Now that's a like multi-billion-dollar a
Mhm.
year company, so it must
Yeah.
be profitable if it's like over 10%
Yeah,
of that.
you've also got to think of YouTube Premium as well. YouTube
Mm.
Premium has also drove in a lot of revenue as well. That obviously helps, but they did have to up YouTube Premium. It was I believe when I first paid for it, I'm pretty sure was it $7.99 or $8.99? I can't remember exactly. I know now it's about $11.99. But like I was fine with paying that because I've not watched an ad on YouTube in ages,
Mm.
so I'm absolutely fine with not paying it. But yeah, as I was saying on Kick, obviously 95%, but it's very, very enticing. But there is some problems as well with that. Because of obviously Kick's nature. Right now they don't have a full TOS, and that creates a lot of problems, particularly with brands wanting to get involved.
Mm.
Nobody is going to advertise on your platform if there's no TOS, because they're not going to associate themselves with a platform that could harvest hate speech.
Mm.
That is a massive problem right now. And at the moment, that means the only type of revenue that you can accrue from Kick is from directly your viewers.
See,
Therefore, you are solely reliant on subscriptions and bits, I'll call them, because I can't say kicks constantly. I think bits just make more sense. So you're solely reliant on subscriptions for your revenue on Kick, because ads will not be a thing. There is also no actual benefit to subscriptions other than the fact that you get emotes and you support the streamer. Those are the only two benefits right now. They are looking at rolling it. This is one of the things why I didn't make this a separate video. They are rolling out more things for subscribers and stuff like that, where there'll be ways that you can do certain giveaways and stuff like that. There's going to be new features coming out for subscribers to YouTube, to a Kick channel. So there are things rolling out. Trainwreck has done a lot of announcements, and he's creating also more tools for Kick. So there is a kind of balancing act coming. The problem is Kick is still in its infancy, so I am judging it right now where it's not fully complete. While likes of Twitch is a complete article in many ways,
a
because
broken
they've
article.
had. But yeah, it's a broken article, but it is also
Yeah.
also like all there. It's got all these tools, and YouTube wise is lacking features, but it's still YouTube. Like people still like no matter what, the amount of traffic that goes to YouTube is maddening. I think I like they compared about the amount of traffic to Twitch to YouTube, and it wasn't even like it's something about like 2 billion people in a year click on YouTube. Like that you cannot compare that figure with Twitch,
Mm.
not even slightly.
Because I feel
So
like
the fact,
Twitch is more dedicated content, whereas YouTube, you can find the content that you want to consume.
yes. So obviously, um, yeah, like I said, I pointed out obviously. So Twitch is, and I should add as well, I pointed out about this IVS thing and the fact that Twitch is not profitable. They they had, well, see, yeah, last month they had 1,200 employees at Twitch, right? They have just laid off 400 of those employees.
Huh.
Yeah, because of the fact that they are not profitable right now. So they have laid off almost quite close to half. They're just
Do you feel like that we are
scary.
slowly watching the demise and downfall of Twitch itself? Not only
I
because
mean,
it's not profitable, but because they
this is
keep putting
something that
in things
I
that are so out. Like YouTube's doing the same thing, like with the whole like no swearing thing. Like they're putting in
that
rules
they
and
changed that
regulations.
though.
Has that been changed
They
away?
changed it.
Okay, good, because that is
So
fucking ridiculous.
they've changed the parameters of it, right? So the parameters of it have changed. So there's certain swear words that are different levels. At one point you
You
could
can't
not swear at
censor
all.
swearing. You can't.
Yeah,
It's thought control. You cannot police what people say as long as it's not hateful. You
well,
cannot tell people not to say certain things. It is not our problem that children go onto these websites. Be better parents.
yeah, well, yeah, they got child control and stuff, but that one of the ways that they direct the content to children, and this is why whenever you upload a video, it always asks you every single time, is this content designed for children? And obviously, if you click no, you're immediately like kind of sectioning yourself off on YouTube. Like immediately, like a lot of the content that's going to get put out there is not going to go straight to kids at that point. It's only going to go to adults, which obviously restricts the amount of people that can see your video quite heavily. Now YouTube had another method of doing this as well, which is obviously the swear. Now what they've done is like certain swear words have got just different levels. So like so the F word is obviously the highest level. Like so the kind of S words and stuff like that. I'm not going to say it because I'm trying to kind of keep swear words out at the beginning of the podcast if I can.
I mean, we're half an hour into it.
Yeah, but like I still try and keep it out.
Okay, fair enough.
Like the S word are lower tiers, so they require to be said more throughout a video to then be limited. So it's like certain, like basically you build up throughout a video. So like if you only use the F word once in the video, yeah, that and it's not within, I think it's like the first 15 minutes, that video won't get age restricted. So that video will still go out. Beforehand, the rules were if you swore at all, your video got age restricted. So they changed that, which, don't get me wrong, I don't fully agree with it, but I completely understand it.
Why do you understand it? Everybody swears. If they think these little 10, 11-year-olds aren't swearing when mummy and daddy isn't looking, there's like...
Yeah, but you've got to cater to the audience. If the audience is demanding, in this case, the audience is parents.
The audience is not parents.
Yeah, but they are the market. So
that's like parents blaming Mitrovic on like their kid doing something in grassroots level. Like no, it has nothing to do with that. Be better parents.
Yeah, but we aren't in control of what parents actually do. Like parenting was
exactly, it should not be your responsibility as a content creator.
We can only control what we can control. So in this case, what we can control is the content that lands on their iPad. In this case, so obviously, all YouTube is trying to do is keep as many people happy at the same time. I've not got a problem with it because yes, you could argue the fact that parents should use
parenting,
but they can't also control what goes onto the kid's iPad all the time.
Yes, you can.
But YouTube can. Yeah, but that's the thing. If I don't if I say that this video is not for kids, it will not go on YouTube Kids.
Well, that's fine. That platform exists specifically there for parents to have some sort of control. It's the parents that aren't doing that. So why does the content for adults have to be then like blocked and blurred all the way through the algorithm just because people don't want to be a parent?
Yeah, because like parents give their kids the iPad. If they hear swear words, they may take the iPad off, and immediately that stops traffic on YouTube. Like immediately. if that affects traffic on YouTube, then therefore that's a big problem for YouTube, because then at that point, people aren't on their website.
And little do they
Um,
know that parents are actually promoted to swear at their children. That is a good thing, because if you swear at your child, one, they know that you've done something bad. Two, and this has been proven on numerous studies, if you vent out your disapproval or anger at your kid via swearing, the statistic rate of people actually putting their hands on their own kids drops astronomically. So swearing is, and it also increases endorphins within people. Like it's such a healthy thing, but it's been demonized.
we're going
Yeah,
off
we
topic
went off
slightly.
back to stick, back to stick.
Yeah, we're going off topic, but it like I don't get me wrong, I can go into that a little bit later on, but yeah,
Oh, sorry.
with obviously comparing Kick and Stake to the other platforms, how they'll make profit, the only way they can make it is by directing people to the website. So that's the only way. However, what I will say, because I don't feel like the good areas of Kick are actually advertised enough. Like, we've pointed out that obviously the biggest obvious bad side of them, right? We have one thing they're doing well is the community engagement. I've seen the actual Kick Twitter engaging with their smaller creators, offering their smaller creators partnerships immediately, getting them verified so that people click on them early, promoting these streams. Kick has better discoverability than Twitch, and it's been out for about 3 months, which is crazy. I've seen people. There's one guy I followed that was getting about 30 viewers on Twitch. He's now averaging about 120 on Kick, and he's also got about 1,000 subs. 1,000 subs at 95% split, you're looking at about $4,500. If that's on Twitch, you're getting 2.5. That is a massive difference in income. And that is the difference between somebody going full time and somebody basically still having to put the job at the side. They do a lot of good things that way, and also they're listening to the community. They've also got their app loading tonight. So when we're recording this on Sunday, it's launching tonight. There's a feature. It's not going to be there on launch, but there's a feature on where there's a TikTok style scrolling to Kick. So basically, you can then scroll through live streams, and say if you land on one that you actually like the look of, you can then click and follow that one, which is genius.
That's not a bad idea.
This is something that Twitch should have had ages ago, but they've got a TikTok style. So you can scroll, go, no, I don't like this stream. Scroll, and you can keep doing that until you find one you like. But it also, in the mix there's also going to be clips from streams as well. So you can, there's kind of a mix of already recorded content, highlights, and actual live streams. Now, this is amazing. Like that feature alone is amazing, and they listen to the community, because the one thing that streamers have always wanted, is discoverability, and this is something that they're going to get with Kick, that basically Twitch is not listening to. There's the only discoverability that Twitch has tried to implement that I've seen is like, so they're boosted streams which require the viewers to pay. And that just boosts you onto the front page, but doesn't even put you in the feature section that's at the top. No, it just boosts your stream up to the bar near the bottom. So, and it says on it, this is a boosted stream. Like, it's a bit frustrating that way. And they do have a recommended section on Twitch, but very rarely do people click on it. You often got to rely on people clicking on the game to then find your stream that way. And I should add, even YouTube's discoverability is better, because when you go onto YouTube, live streams are there with your recommended videos as well. Now, what I will argue is that Kick's app, once it releases, will still have better discoverability than YouTube, which is quite astonishing, because YouTube is known as one of the most discoverable platforms. But I came up with an idea that if YouTube did, they would be the best discoverability platform by a country mile. Like it would not be even close. Could you imagine if YouTube allowed vertical live streaming? So you're scrolling through YouTube Shorts and you hit a live stream. You know, just
I
imagine that for a
because I
second.
don't
It's like
consume that kind of stuff. I don't get it.
so. A lot of people that like live stream on TikTok and stuff, obviously, if they're live stream like what I was doing, they have to the stream by basically the normal video format, which is um oh my god, I've forgotten the aspect ratios and stuff like that. Um, basically yeah, so you got your vertical one, which is your phone mode. Then you've got your normal
Landscape.
video phone, which is horizontal, right? I forget the aspect ratios. It's completely left my mind. Um, if you were able to broadcast your live streams on YouTube in vertical format, and while people are scrolling through shorts, they come across your live stream. That would be a game changer. That would be one of the best features that YouTube could release over the next God knows however long, and that would change the game. But YouTube at the moment have been very, very slow releasing anything. The last thing that they released that of note was the fact that they added raids to YouTube, and even that's not great because you have to give permission to channels to raid you. Kick, on the other hand, yeah, you can raid pretty much anyone. There's no issues there. The barriers are pretty much not there, in the sense of that you can be raided by anyone, and there's discoverability. But there is also a bombshell I've got to deal with this. And
Okay.
this is one I warned Remy off.
This is the one I asked him not to tell me.
There is evidence that supports the fact that Kick's viewership is massively inflated. And what I mean by that
Bots?
is there's a lot of fake viewers, not necessarily bots. There's no proof to say it's bots. There's proof to say that potentially when a viewer comes in, they may count as 2 or 3 viewers when they come into a live stream. And this very possibly could be a glitch, but there's also the possibility, and this was pointed out by a different creator. I cannot remember his name because he was in the shorts that I discovered this video. There was a creator that pointed out the fact that this might be a glitch, but it could also be the technique that Stake use for pushing people to the gambling website. Because if you can see, say if you've got 5 people in your stream, but that's counting as about 40 views, you're immediately going to get a feel of maybe you're going to get a dopamine hit. You're going to be, wow, I am absolutely flying here. And I'm going to keep streaming on Kick because I'm keep getting all these amazing viewers. When reality is, you've got the same amount of viewers, but they're being inflated. So therefore, you associate Kick with this great feeling of getting these views.
Is that not fraud, though?
Oh, the thing is, this could be a glitch because they did have issues with the. This is where it's not been proven yet because it could be a glitch. So I'm disclaiming the fact that this could be a glitch, but there is definite proof of the fact that this does happen. Mainly because on the video that I watched, he went into live streams with different accounts, like on his phone and stuff like that, and seen these views go up gradually. It's not a confirmed science because obviously other people could join, but at the rate it was doing, and when he would leave a live stream, obviously everything would come down. It just seemed very, very fishy. And the other avenue is that if you look at so this is something I did myself. See if you go to the live streams on Kick and you go to the slots one. So obviously the one where Kick Stake need to make money from. There's one guy that I keep seeing that's constantly got 15,000 viewers, constantly, and 2 people typing in chat, which immediately rings alarm bells. Because if you saw that on Twitch, you'd be thinking
Bots.
He's got bots in his stream. But that's the same for anyone else that is also sponsored by Kick. It's sponsored by Stake. So it's very, very fishy, and it's very, very uneasy to see. However, this could still be a glitch. I could be completely wrong about this, but the evidence does seem to point towards Stake trying to inflate viewers to create a feeling of success, which is also the same feeling you get through gambling.
Artificial growth.
Exactly, yes. Yeah. You get this artificial success. You get this artificial feeling of you've done it and you've won. and if
and
that
makes you
that,
want to
that
do more.
artificial feeling of the fact you've won is where the gambling part comes into it. And you know what? In some ways, it's genius, but it's
It
evil
that
genius.
that's no that to me like that's almost like putting in like an addictive aspect to streaming on a certain that
Yep.
platform because it's feeding into this like I'm growing here, I'm becoming more successful, but in reality
Yeah.
you're just becoming addicted to artificial growth.
Yeah.
That
There's
if
evidence to
that's
support it.
like obviously as you said it could be a glitch, blah 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 blah, but
Yeah.
if that is proven to be true, that has like very serious legal ramifications for them.
Potentially, but it's quite hard to prove. Like I said, the only proof I've seen is one guy going in and out of streams with different accounts, and seeing like all these people coming in and all these people coming out, and kind of watching the viewership and how that fluctuates, and gambling streams where you see pretty much no one typing in chat. You can do this even now. You go into Kick, you go into these gambling streams, you see these people with loads of viewers. Look how many people are actually typing in chat, and it's like you if you see the same thing on Twitch, there's like the chat is moving at massive rate. Like
Yeah,
you
it's
can't
moving at
even
light
keep up
speed.
with it.
That's
So
what I was saying
it's
earlier about like being in someone like Co-Carnage's chat. You're just lost in the middle.
yeah, and like I mean, even when I go into a Twitch stream and there's like 100 people, I'm still struggling sometimes to read through the chat. So when it's like 15,000, you're kind of like there's something no right here.
Mm.
And the gambling streams are the ones that I found this consistently with. But yeah, that's where that was the kind of bombshell I had for you, because as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh my god, like this is
Mm.
it unfortunately this might crush a few people that are thinking they're getting this massive success on Kick, but the reality of the matter, you should always rate how your stream is doing by the chat. If the chat is bouncing off, you're doing well. If it's quiet as anything, you need to work on how you're engaging with your community at that point. The viewership, realistically, it's hard to say, and I also don't know how this is going to affect when the kind of TikTok scrolling on live streams comes about.
Mm.
Do you get a view for that every time someone flicks on your stream for like 1 second? Do you get a view for that? Like nobody actually knows yet, because that feature's not even going to be out on the launch.
Surely
But
that kind of thing doesn't count as a view though, because you're not actually in it. You're just sort of like browsing through.
so that also features into the likes of the Facebook live streaming. So that used to happen on Facebook. So how many I don't know how often you would ever like scroll through videos on Facebook, but
Very
you
rarely.
would come across a live stream, and I think it was it's the FIFA content creator from Burnley, Visa, or I can't remember exactly how you pronounce his name. But he pointed out the fact that sometimes he'd be on 500 viewers.
Does he record with the sidemen sometimes?
No.
Visual Via?
No.
Okay, never mind.
He lives in Poland right now. But yeah, he's
What do you want me
he
to go ask
pointed
Asha?
out. No. So he pointed out the fact that he would be streaming on Facebook. He'd go for like 500 viewers, 1,500,000 viewers, and like 2 people typing in chat. And it wasn't bots, that was just people scrolling for videos. And people typically didn't want to watch live streams on Facebook because it would reveal their real name. They didn't want to associate it with their actual name.
Mm.
So that's the kind of that's the kind of vibe I get slightly with this Kick thing. Only difference is you've got this discoverability where people can use their aliases. So there's a lot of there is actually a lot of benefits with Kick that aren't really talked about, but there is this glaring kind of ethics area behind that is constantly going to loom over it. And in my opinion, and this is my opinion, if you're going to stream on Kick, do so. I should add the fact that although we're talking about the ethics of Kick, none of the platforms are clean.
Oh no.
Twitch in particular is nowhere near clean. The fact that Kick has more TOS on gambling alone is sketchy. The fact that YouTube obviously well, in fairness, with YouTube, I had a story in my mind, but honestly, most of YouTube's ones are just kind of like the swearing one, which we were talking about before,
Yeah.
where they changed that with no notice, so people can re-edit some of the videos. Some of their communication is a bit sketchy, but realistically, YouTube's rep is actually not too bad. But like, yeah, and like like so EA and stuff like. But these are companies that have all got bad reps, but we still use their products, and it's going to be the same with Kick. And in my opinion,
I mean, like
if you're going to
Apple.
use Kick, you should use it to push your other platforms. Do not solely rely on Kick for the sole reason of the IVS, which I mentioned previously. The amount of money that Stake are absolutely plummeting into Kick and losing from that, they would have to make a hell of a lot from gambling, which they might do. I should add, Kick could be very profitable. I could be wrong about this.
Like personally, just because like it's entirely based on making money off of gambling, I would not promote it at all.
Yeah, it's obviously based off gambling, but obviously the same happened with Twitch as well. In the sense of the fact that all these streamers and stuff like that, Twitch got some of its best viewership when the gambling streams were about, and they made a lot of money off that. So no platform is actually clean from this. But like I said, if you're going to stream on Kick, use Kick as a stepping stone to elevate your YouTube, to elevate your TikTok, to elevate your Twitch, elevate other platforms with Kick. Use this discoverability of a platform that is built towards live content to then promote your other areas of content and stream on YouTube, stream on Twitch.
See, here's a funny aspect that I've just thought about.
Go for it.
Do you reckon that like companies like the YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, blah blah blah, are using the negative publicity on Kick to make out that they are cleaner than they actually are? Kind of like UEFA taking such a stance against this Super League thing. Like, one is a monopoly, one is like a shady organization, not wanting another monopoly, another shady organization to take away their money. Do you reckon like that will be like part of the defense? Like someone like Twitch would come out and say like, yeah,
not
well,
really,
we're not backed by gambling.
But what I do think will happen with this is I think Kick competition in businesses is always good, right?
Oh yeah.
Because what it does is it pushes a company that felt comfortable to innovate. Innovate, exactly. And that's what it pushes them to do. And I think with Kick, what it might actually do is it might give Twitch a kick up the back. I should add, when I made a video about Twitch dying, I always hoped that Twitch was going to recover and come up with some really good features. They have provided some good features. There's still a lot that are very questionable. We brought up one on stream actually the other day about the Reacts feature, where you can click the React feature underneath someone's live stream and react to a certain moment in the stream, which is that no one ever does. So what's the point of it? All it lets the streamer know is at this point there was a pog moment. One person
kind of like
YouTube's
like
moment.
if you're scrolling through on YouTube, like the video itself, not like shorts. If you're like scrolling on a video, it shows you like most replayed, like what part people are going to.
Yeah. I really hope what happens with Kick is that it pushes the other. I should add, YouTube just seems like at the moment it's just sitting there with popcorn, waiting to see what happens with everyone else.
I think
they haven't innovated
so
in any way.
Like it was so ahead of the competition. Like Twitch forced them. YouTube didn't want to change. Twitch forced them to change, which is a good thing.
If YouTube wanted to, if they wanted to dominate the live stream,
they could end Twitch.
They could end Twitch. They could pay the biggest content creators. That is also an angle which I don't know yet how that's going to play out. What brings people to platforms more than anything else, and it happens with YouTube gaming, is when you bring over content creators. Bear in mind that Mixer had Ninja exclusively at one point, and Mixer still died. So bear that in mind as well. That was a point that was brought up by Andy when I kind of spoke. But I should add, me and Andy kind of clash a little bit on this because he as well is massive. He is kind of massively against gambling.
What?
Massively against stake.
He is not massively against gambling. He loves gambling.
He's massively against stake, which I understand. Because technically, I can't remember.
This guy spends more than my yearly wage on FIFA.
Yes, He is he's massively against steak, and
Okay.
obviously I get it. I do. So yeah, it kind of comes down to your own ethics at this point. On whether you feel that you. I should add, if anyone streams on Kick, I'm not judging you in any way
Mm.
because realistically, it could be a platform that jump starts your content creation career. And as long as you're doing what I kind of said, where you're promoting your other platforms, you've built longevity from that growth that you've just built on one platform. So it's the same happened with TikTok. When TikTok launched, a lot of people didn't want to use it at the start, and those people that were there at the start built up humongous followings because they were on TikTok at the start. I think it was there was a podcast I was watching, a Diary CEO, where there was a content creator expert that went on, and he basically pointed out the fact that the TikTok creators that were there at the start, if they were to start their accounts now, they would grow not even close to as fast. In fact, they would probably be struggling to get off the 100,000 follower mark, despite the fact that some of them have got about 2-3 million followers on TikTok. So it shows being there right now, you'll get this growth. Amazing. Use it wisely, and you'll see the fruits of that labor. But that's kind of my summary
More
about.
key
But
are you gonna use it?
I will use it, but I won't. In no ways will I commit to it
Okay.
in any way. I've kind of kept myself at an arm's length for it. Like I broadcast my content on there, but I will not commit to it. Even if Kick comes in with an offer for me and say, "Look, we're going to pay you this much," I don't think I'd take it. Mainly because I just do not see the platform lasting. That's my biggest concern. I would hate to put all my eggs in one basket,
For the
and
then
for
to
that,
fail.
exactly, I
Yeah.
just don't see it succeeding. I just don't see like how Kick from the only way that they can succeed is if they are making huge amounts of money of directing people to their website, their gambling website. That's the only way I can see that they make money off this website. Now I should add there could be down the line they might change the subscriber split. They may be able to get ads on the platform. There might be avenues in which they can actually start to make money. But if a giant like Twitch is not profitable, and it's basically the same service, then how on earth is Kick going to be? And the only way is through directing people through gambling websites. Now, I should add, anyone that streams on Kick that doesn't stream gambling is making Stake lose money because they lose money every time someone streams on there and doesn't stream gambling content. So bear that in mind as well. So if your ethics are the fact I'm not going to stream on here because of I'm not going to stream my gaming content here because of gambling, realistically, you're not harming the company. What actually harming the company is actually streaming on the service. Although that is a kind of a grey area. But they do lose money every time someone streams on there that doesn't stream gambling content. That is a fact because that happens with Twitch. One of the issues with Twitch is the amount of small creators that are on there, the amount of people with one viewer that are taking up that are costing Amazon basically. It's kind of mental. But yes, I think that's kind of the summary. I mean, how do you kind of summarize your general feelings on Kick for me just before we move on?
Well, because I'm so anti-gambling, because I have like that deep-rooted part of me, I can never promote. I can never advise somebody to use something that I know that it goes directly against my morals as a person. But I understand why people are doing it, like for various reasons that you said, because discoverability, big problem, massive, massive, massive problem, especially on places like Twitch. There are a lot of ways that you can increase your discoverability, and unfortunately, Kick is one of them. If you want to go and use it, by all means. I'm not going to sit here and berate anybody that does. It's the company that I have a problem with, not the people on it, because I don't know who's streaming on there. I don't know who they are. Like they may be decent people. I haven't got a problem with them. I do, however, have a problem with companies having such a large part of day to day life. Like I personally believe like they should not be allowed on shirt sponsors, like on football. They should not be allowed to advertise on
Mm,
YouTube, Twitch, like at all. Like you because like children are becoming addicted to this kind of stuff. And you see it every day,
mm,
like with loot boxes and stuff like that. Like FIFA as a prime example, Fortnite with their V Bucks. Like kids are becoming addicted to this idea of instant gratification. Like spending so much money on something
mm.
because that's how you get enjoyment. That's where you get your dopamine from, and then that leads into things later in life. So I just don't like. I cannot get behind anything that will like start that seed in someone's head.
Yeah. No, I completely get it. I do. And I get people's reasoning for maybe not quite wanting to, um, not wanting to be associated with the website in any way.
Mm.
I do. I completely understand it. And again, I'm the same. I will not vilify anyone that does streaming it, because if you gain, say, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube from Kick, that's 1,000 subscribers you didn't have a month ago. It's like, and that can happen. Like, if you pop off on Kick, you could get this humongous growth very quickly, and it happened with TikTok. It happened with it. There's the only reason I can say is it happened with it. Obviously, should have TikTok has very sketchy
Mm.
morals as well. With the company in China and their data sharing and stuff like that is kind of very iffy. But that's a different story entirely. But yeah, I think realistically, like I said, if you're going to use Kick, use it to direct people from Kick to your other content. Get the absolute full fruit of your labor from there, and diversify your audience onto the platforms that you see the long-term success with. Kick might not always be there, so make sure you're sharing your other socials and moving that audience over to your long-form content, to your YouTube in particular. That's where you'll find success. But yes, I feel like we've covered that one
Quite
quite
well.
well. And there's a lot of points. Like I said, I've done a hell of a lot of research on this. So, and I've still missed out points, but I feel like the most I've kind of got the gist across and finally got that off my chest, because I had a lot of information. But I should add, with this Kick app coming out tonight, there could be new information that comes up all of a sudden that God knows, there's going to be basically a lot happening. But yes, so the next topic we got on the podcast team, hopefully a little bit happier. Really depends on your point of view on this one. But me and Remy, obviously, we're both massive fans of Halo.
Woo!
And obviously, since the last podcast that we did, season 3 on Halo Infinite came out, and it was one that obviously it basically a lot of questions were coming with this season. And one of the questions was, is this going to save the game? And
I
I
don't know
think
if
the
it's gonna
short
save it.
answer is no. But
It's a move in the right direction.
exactly, yes, it's a step in the right place.
But key
So
to that is it too little, too late. Because
yes, so
season 3 is what brought me back. Like we
mhm.
started streaming it and stuff like that. I like playing it on stream and off stream. It's brought me back, and I do love it, and I love that there's so much more work going into this. But it's 7-8 months too late.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and it's massively frustrating, because this is the first Halo since Halo 3 multiplayer that I have played really a lot of. And I am very interested in doing ranked play and getting high ranks.
See, I think that's everybody's thing with Halo Infinite. Not a single person had a bad thing to say about the gunplay, the gameplay itself. The multiplayer is absolutely phenomenal.
I
It's the
will say
best
that's not
it's been in
entirely
years.
true, but like that's more from kind of people that come from like the COD and stuff like that had that. It wasn't necessarily people that played Halo religiously.
No,
Like
people who
most people,
from Halo,
people that
Halo fans loved it. It's the content that killed it.
yeah, 100%. And like I said, Halo, the season 3 was 100% a step in the right direction. You know what? It came with a lot of content, but the one thing I feel let down on on that season is the lack of maps
Mm,
that came out. Like, never mind anything else. The lack of maps is where I felt there's just not enough variety.
there's
There
not.
just isn't. And like the one thing I want more than anything else on the Halo maps right now is I really, really want to be able to use a Scorpion, for example, and not feel that I have to turn like 90 degrees every single time I want to kill somebody. I want to be able to sit on a hill and pelt a base with with my Scorpion.
Like Blood
You can't really
Gulch.
do that.
Like an old school map from like Halo 1, 2, it was in 3. Like it's like, the one in the canyon where you just two
Yeah,
bases, either like, yeah,
there,
Blood
there,
Gulch.
yeah, but Blood Gulch, yeah, that map, absolutely bring that in.
See, that's
Even
all
as a
they need to do.
BTB.
Like, it's not even that difficult. Just go back, like fan favorite maps. Just remake them, redo them, and release it into a playlist. If like classic maps or something like
You
that.
know what the beautiful thing is about Halo and its maps is that Halo is about Halo rings, and Halo rings are more or less identical to each other. So therefore, the maps you bring out are pretty much going to be identical to each other. It's absolutely fine. You know,
Nobody
bringing
cares.
them out, but bringing them out in different formats.
Yeah.
You know, it's you can recycle maps, and nobody is actually going to be mad. You can add different features to it. So there was like one yesterday I was watching Uber Nick play, and it was a map from Halo 2, but it was detailed to, instead of being like the Covenant, it was about the Banished, and they
Ooh.
just changed and the person that even made scarabs in the distance on this map, like it was like the detailing to it was amazing. And I should, like, the scarabs weren't like a feature that you could just like, go to the menu and forge and create. You had to like build every individual part of the scarab.
Yeah.
And he also made a factory behind it. And you know the little things that were in Halo 2, there's like the little bodysuits. They had like miniguns on them. They kind of reminded me of the robots from the Matrix. Do you know what I'm on about?
No.
No. But yeah, basically there was these kind of robots things that he made again by scratch, and also
Are
made
you
it
not
look
thinking
like
of
there
the
was
Mantis from Halo 4?
potentially.
It's like a big bipedal robot.
Yeah,
That's Halo 4. That's the
yeah,
Mantis.
yeah. I was about to say I might be getting mixed up the Halos there, but yeah, he also made it look like a Scarab was in the middle of production as well. Like parts, like the detailing to some of these Forge maps is unbelievable, and we're just like, use them. Like, nobody will be mad if you just say, you know what, we've just released 50 maps, and they're all community created. Like not a single person would be mad.
It's such a no-brainer. Like re-release Blood Gulch, Zenith, Oracle, like Mothership. Like re-release all of these. People will come back. Release
Yes,
like
and
10
please,
classic
for
maps.
the love of God, get rid of Fiesta. I cannot stand Fiesta.
I have a love-hate thing with Fiesta.
No, I can't stand it. And you know what? Need Lone Wolf to be there permanently. I
Also, name Tactical Slayer back to SWAT.
Yeah. I feel like we're just gonna start complaining about things now. It's like, I mean, I understand not having team snipers there permanently.
Yeah.
Like obviously bring that as a featured playlist every now and then. Even though it's probably one of my favorites because you feel sick after every kill. But it needs to be arena that's not quick play. So you need to have an arena option where all the arena maps are all available and you can play pretty much any game mode on them. So that's like capture the flag or anything like that. There needs to be a feature where there's that in there, because I do quick play and the only game modes that are on it are catch the flag and Slayer. And that's it. There's no oddball. There is no Fiesta, even though I hate Fiesta. There's no
just release
shotty
like a
sniper.
quick play party or some party pack or whatever.
Yeah, it's just bring in the arena where you have the, like, you could literally, but no two games are going to be exactly the same. And that is one of the issues with BTB right now, is that there is only 4 BTB maps, 5 maybe.
1, 2, 3.
I think there's 5.
I think there's 4.
So there's the 2 grass ones. There is the kind of factory one. There's Oasis, and there is. I feel like we're missing one. Oh yeah, there's the big scarab one. So yeah, there's
Mm.
five.
Oh, fair enough.
So yeah,
5 maps
but
is not enough.
it's not, especially for a game mode that's got to have the most players in it. So again, it's an issue, and it needs to feel like if you go in a vehicle, you can't feel that you're going to bump into a rock every 2 minutes.
Mm.
You need to have space. There needs to be a bit of openness. Have trenches by all means. Like that, I wouldn't be against. Have a scarab and a warthog that can go over a trench. Fine with that. Just have space where you can actually drive these things and have like long range combat and short range combat. Find the balance. I think Oasis tried to combat that a little bit. It's obviously got that area in the middle which is open, and you can take vehicles through and stuff like that. Absolutely fine. Yes, you're kind of in no man's land, but you can take them through there. And I think Oasis is about the closest of all the maps to being able to do that. But please just bring a map that we can use vehicles. That's my only ask, in my opinion. Out of the next maps they bring out, which apparently could be coming out next month. Apparently there's gonna be a mini release of some stuff next month that we're expecting, to kind of bridge the gap between the two seasons, because the next season's not until June.
If they come out and because that's the one thing I think I said to you before the launch of season 3, like I hope there's more maps that they just haven't showed us yet, and unfortunately there was not.
Yeah, yeah, we've got to wait and see. It's a bit frustrating.
I mean, look at all these amazing maps that people are making in Forge quicker than this multi-million-dollar company is struggling to get out 3 months apiece.
I've got something to point out actually about Forge. Have you heard about the differences between your Forge capabilities and Fortnite's capabilities?
No.
There's a lot of forgers now moving over to Fortnite because of the flexibility and the range of stuff you can create on there, and the fact that their creations are getting appreciated more on Fortnite than they are on Forge.
It's the sad reality of it.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Now, for custom games and stuff like that, we've obviously experimented a lot of maps and found a lot that are quite good.
Yeah.
And I've now got a bit of playlist of about 14 maps, of maps that are tested, tried and tested.
That one we played, the Rust one, and then the one from Halo 3 where you're coming from the beach up into the little base.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Re-release that shit. That is good.
100%. I'd love like ones where it's like even some funny ones. Like we did the volleyball one. Imagine they did volleyball. Oh my god, bring Griffball, please.
Oh, Griffball needs to come back.
Yeah, Griffball playlist, please. Bring that in. But like even yesterday, me and Chrissy discovered a beer pong one that was pretty sick. Where you literally just where you drive a warthog down the ramp and you try and aim for different cups. Like that one worked really well. And it takes a little bit of skill. But yeah, like even stuff like that, just silly stuff like that, bring that in. How well did Modern Warfare 2 do when they brought out Prop Hunt on it?
Oh,
Prop Hunt was a silly game mode, but people absolutely adored it. It was already on Gary's mod. People loved it on Gary's mod, but the problem was Gary's mod was not accessible to everyone. The beauty of consoles is it's accessible to everyone. You have a PC at an affordable price. Bring it out, please. It's frustrating, but and the beauty of custom games is the fact that you can play even the Fall Guys one that we played. It's Fall Guys, but it's on Halo. Like you can put it into a playlist of different maps. One game you're playing for Fall Guys, the next you're playing Squid Game. It varies each time. So it's just a variety. Bring it out, please. That's all we want. I want to go on Halo and not do the same exact thing I did last night. That's what I'm looking for. And yes, I would love. I mean, we ranked up last night, me and Square. I got gold 5, I think. Gold 5, I think I landed in.
Is that duos?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to playing more ranked today. I don't know why. I just seem to be addicted to it.
Hmm.
I'm addicted to
I
Halo
love
right now. I don't know.
ranks.
Yeah. I get frustrated at the teammates sometimes, which is why I'm very reluctant to go into it with 2 people.
Hmm.
But I think that also helped me out because I absolutely carried hard last night. Like there's a game I think I got 30 kills in an arena match, on Capture the Flag. And we came back from 2-0 down
Hmm.
to 3-2, and then eventually they capped 2.
I mean, look how
So we lost.
intense and like enjoyable. Like I think it was
Oh,
we had a full team. It was you, myself, Chrissy, and
mm,
Errol all on. And
yeah.
like we were getting absolutely hammered. We changed up what we were doing. We were making callouts, and we pulled the game back and won at the last bloody second.
Remember my genius call it of let's just shroud ourselves constantly and shroud ourselves all in this corridor, multiple shrouds, and we'll just hit anyone that comes in.
Yeah,
Immediately we all
that
die.
worked out great, didn't it?
Like these,
And I knew it was a dumb idea. I told you it was dumb.
and you still did it.
I
So,
know.
so
know.
you don't get this kind of stuff on COD. You don't get these like hilarious plays on COD.
I feel like
you just
because
don't.
there's so much more linearity to like something like Apex, Fortnite, COD, because the game is what it is. There's so much more opportunity there for variety on a game like Halo, but they're just not doing it.
Yeah. And
Because Halo itself is a sandbox game, which none of these others are, realistically. Halo is a sandbox shooter that relies on somebody's map knowledge, knowledge of the abilities, weapons, everything that goes into playing that game. That there is an endless list of possibilities. Like that's why it's been so easy to make. Like the amount of clips that you've had that have popped off from simply just playing Halo, it's been
yeah.
astronomical.
Yeah, I will add, Halo has added an extra element to my editing, which I'm quite glad. This is also one of the reasons why I'm really pushing playing Halo a lot more, because my level of editing for what I can produce on Halo is rapidly increasing, and therefore I'm always constantly desperate for more clips. I want to practice more. I want to get better than what I was, and find the balance as well in editing with these clips, because there is definitely audience for Halo. There is.
The audience
even though
is
it's
there.
not got even though it's not got as many players as it used to, people want to see Halo content because there's a nostalgia feeling of it.
Yeah.
And if Halo can get to a level that everyone wants to come back to it on, then we are very lucky. Because that's something that everyone wants. And that's a hard thing to get. Like trying to please everyone never works. But when you get vast majority of people happy, that's very rare. Like that doesn't happen with pretty much any game.
Yeah.
So like I mean, just look at like Warzone for example. Like you were loving the Warzone at one point,
Yeah, and then
now
season
you
2
can't stand it.
Yeah, I can't. I've actually uninstalled Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Every positive change they made, like to Warzone, like the 2v2 gulag, it was more strategic. You had to do like contracts and stuff like that. Everything was harder and more team focused. And now because of streamers complaining, oh, it's not as enjoyable to watch, blah blah blah. It was enjoyable to play.
Yeah.
So they just
like,
reverted everything, and it's horrible. And I probably won't be back.
yeah.
That's a game that I put over 140 hours into, by the way. Like, Errol and I played the death out of that. But, again, neither one of us like it anymore.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's... I mean, in fairness, I've been tempted to go try Battlefield again. Because, I know, obviously, you gave Battlefield stick when it first came out. I gave it a little bit of stick when it first came out. Because, obviously, it's the factor of the fact you don't buy a Battlefield game for the game at launch.
Yeah, but I hate that.
Which seems ridiculous. However,
I'm tempted to,
we could always acknowledge whenever a game like Battlefield has been out for a while, they do fix all their issues.
An annoying statistic, I think currently on Steam anyway, Battlefield 2042 is doing better than Halo Infinite now.
Yeah, it will, because of the publicity. Like Battlefield players expect the game to be glitchy when they get it at launch.
Yeah,
People
but
on
not
Halo
that
don't.
bad.
Yeah, and like I'll play Battlefield at some point. I will. 100% will.
I'd hop on Battlefield with you.
Yeah, but at the moment, I want to keep playing Halo. I honestly I cannot get enough of it right now. Which is very very rare. I should add, this is the only time I ever feel about this way about a game is when it's a single player game.
Yeah.
And the only games that I've ever felt this way about, like kind of wanting to play it constantly, is like
Black Flag?
The Witcher, Black Flag, some of the Fable games, trying to think of other single player, the Star Wars ones like the Fallen Kingdom and stuff like that.
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order, that's it. Yeah, sorry. And it's just single player games, the ones that I absolutely like. To Spider-Man in particular. Oh my god, I put so many hours into Spider-Man. Like, and Pokemon. Like these are the games that I play religiously. They're all single player, and Halo is the one that's actually multiplayer that is actually doing really well for me. And there's not a single other game, not a single other one that that's multiplayer that I would be quite happy to put as much time into as I have for Halo. And so that's where like I just want to keep playing it. I want to keep getting better. If I can get to the level of, like, say, Ubernick, where he's not pro level, but he is very, very good.
Oh, Ubernick is phenomenal. Like,
some of the plays
I was watching him. Like, I think it's actually a short or something like he made from it. I was watching him live, and he was taking some stick from the chat. So he was, and because he was just playing bad, and then he just pulled off this maneuver that was just out of this world, and he just like put his controller like, nah, like screw you, I'm the best. It was amazing. I'll see if I can try and find it after the podcast.
Yeah, he had a clip. Oh no, I was watching him last night, and he got a kill atrocity just while we're all there, and it's just like he just does these things that sometimes I just don't expect him to. But he is close to, as close as you get, I think, to being pro without being pro.
Yeah, it's like a casual player being really, really good.
Yeah, I'd love to get to his level of being able to play Halo and just pull out these, because like the clips I would make and the editing I would do.
I used to be that good. That's the annoying thing. Like Andy will tell you when I 1v1'd him because he thought he was good, and I just humiliated him. Like
it annoys me the fact I didn't beat him in that 1v1, but I should have picked a map I knew.
Yeah, why did you do it on Rust of all maps? He's the Call of Duty guy.
It was nostalgia, innit?
Oh.
I mean, he also camped to the corner, so you know. Yeah. At least I kept moving. I didn't camp once.
Yeah. I mean, game's the game.
But yeah, the game's the game. Also, I went active camo when I'm streaming, which was stupid. I kept going for the active camo. He could keep seeing me, and I was just like, yeah, okay, great. However, what are your thoughts on the active camo this year on Halo? Do you think it's too good?
No, I don't.
No, because I mean, I kind of preferred what it was previously, where you can make the outline of people.
You still can.
It's just, this one,
it's always been the case. Like, if you're crouching and moving slowly, it's hard to see them. But if you're standing and moving normally, you can clearly see them. It's just people are a lot more aware of how to use it properly. That's why it seems a bit OP, because the people who are using it, because the amount of people that are left playing Halo, they know how to use it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Rightio. So, I think overall, to kind of recap, what would you say as kind of your rating out of 10 for Halo with Season 3?
Season 3, I'd give them a 5.5.
I'm gonna go
6. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna go 6. To be fair, because it's 100% a step in the right direction, and the fact that it's brought me into the game gets a massive boost. But the lack of maps is what brings it down. That's what kills it for me.
Wasn't it me that got you onto it?
Well, though it was me that was pushing to play it, because I was seeing all the launches of Season 3 coming about.
Yeah, no, never. Yeah, it was you that convinced me to come back.
Yeah, I was like, I was in your ear constantly going, "We need to play Halo. We need to
Mm.
play Halo," because I kept seeing these launches, and you were very reluctant to come onto it. In
Oh,
fact,
yeah, I
you,
because I was so butthurt. Like I put so much.
yeah,
I loved it. I played so much of it. Like,
yeah,
but I was so hurt by the lack of vision and the lack of competence there seemed to be at 343. That's why it
mm,
was so hard for you to convince me to come back. Like I'm glad I am. I'm glad I'm playing it again. But as an in-between game for me,
yeah,
it's not there. It's not quite there yet for it to be my go-to. But in saying that, like
yeah,
I'm not playing Call of Duty. I don't play Fortnite. So
mm,
unfortunately, or fortunately, it is my go-to right now.
yeah. Like like I said, at the moment I can't get enough of it, and I'll keep playing it. And if you haven't already, make sure you're checking out the YouTube and the Twitch and
Hit
Kick.
that subscribe button and the notification icon so you get notified when this lovely fella goes live
Well,
on Halo.
I was about to say they've changed the notification. Have you noticed?
No, I haven't noticed.
So basically, the notification icon is there when you hit the subscribe button.
Oh,
So you'll notice this now when you go on YouTube. So to hit the notification button, you have to hit the subscribe button again, and there's a feature there where I think it automatically goes to personalized notifications. So I think that means whenever I go live, you get a notification. But then there's another part of it where you can do all notifications, which is anything I post.
okay.
So I think there's different levels of notification, which I don't mind, because like some people, I like certain parts of the content, don't like other parts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like there's one of the streamer I was in his content. I like it when he's live, but I don't particularly like the game he plays.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't watch any of his videos, but I like watching him. So it's kind of a two ways. I like getting notifications when he's live,
Yeah.
basically.
Fair enough.
But yeah, right, yo. So team, we have gotten to the point of the podcast where it is story time, and I have not got the best story. Well, it's a story, but it's a bit of a sad one,
Hmm.
right? And again, it's from my youth work times. This one's not overly great. I kind of told Remy what it was, and he was like, "Oh Jesus."
Yeah.
He was kind of like, "Oh yeah." So let me just paint the scene. So again, this one comes from a drop-in a club that I was doing for a while. And basically, people could come into it if there were problems or something like that. They could come to the community center. And it was quite popular because there was all sorts that we did where we did like cooking lessons. There was sports sessions and stuff like that. There was all sorts where people could come if they were having issues at home. Do you want to just get out of the house? There was support there for all sorts. There's even counselling and stuff like that for people that were struggling mentally. Um, and there was one kid that used to come to this class constantly, and will come to this club constantly, and he'd always be there playing pool, and I play him quite a lot. Now what I will point out is the fact that this will shock Remy a little bit. This is like this kid stabbed me once, with a pool cue.
I think you've told me this
Uh,
story.
yeah, yeah, this
Yeah.
is the same kid. So
Oh no.
this kid was lovely, right? I should add, but he well, his mother was bipolar, and he only lived with his mum.
Mm.
So on his mother's bad days, like really bad days, she would be trying to kill herself, and he would be there trying to stop her. And we had suspected that the kid was bipolar as well. Like he showed early signs of it, which is very, very rare. Um, but we had suspicions about it. The problem is when it comes to kind of testing for these kind of things, kids have to reach a certain age because they can still grow out of a lot of these
Mm.
issues. And sometimes it can be really. Sometimes you can put it down to immaturity and stuff like that. It's really hard to diagnose some of these kind of mental illnesses and stuff like that. But we suspected that he was bipolar. And talk about the time he stabbed me on. Basically, I had a really good shot on pool, and he was laughing and stuff like that. And about a minute or so afterwards, I hit this good shot. He gets all of a sudden really angry. I turn the corner. Next thing you know, this pool cue is coming at me, and it kind of, I don't know if I can show it on stream,
On
on
street.
camera. I don't know if it's gonna show.
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell he's showing. I can't see him.
Yeah, basically, I held my arm up, right,
Okay.
and this pool cue kind of scrapes down my arm, and eventually penetrates the skin near. It's round about. Let's see if I can feel it. It's round about here. There's this like little kind of hole, and this
Like
pool
you're gonna
cue.
see when editing this, I'm grimacing like hell here because
Yeah,
the
it
thought of
scrapes
this.
down my arm, and then it just penetrates the skin near the elbow.
Oh.
And the only way I can describe how this is when he let go of the pool cue was hanging out my arm,
Ah.
like it had a genuine bounce.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yes, it's yeah, it was. The thing is, right? Like it was sore, right? But what absolutely bewildered me is how the hell have I been stabbed by a pool cue? A pool cue is blunt. Like this is what I couldn't get. And then the next thing I was thinking is like, oh, is it a bad thing if you got chalk in your bloodstream? That was my
Probably.
next. Yeah, but I was thinking of rock climbers and stuff like that. And I'm sure it's fine then. Yeah. That was fine. And to be honest, I didn't need stitches or anything like that. It only penetrated like the kind of skin layer, really. The first skin layer, so it wasn't too bad. And I just got a kind of plaster over it and whatnot. It was fine. But back to the kind of story we was talking about. So obviously, his this kid that we suspected had kind of these had bipolar. He showed traits of it. He showed
Showed a lot of the symptoms.
He showed triggers. Yeah, he showed a lot of it, and obviously because of his I don't like to say it's because of his mother, right? I don't. But his mum obviously was trying to commit suicide quite regularly, and we were aware of this, and we had reported it to the child services and stuff like that, and there were measures in place to kind of help the child, but he was still living with his mum. And eventually one day we come into the club, and we get the news that the child's committed suicide. Like he I think it was something like he drank bleach, I think it was, and drank the whole thing. And basically it just his mum wasn't there at the time, so basically he died. And this kid is only about 10, 11 years old.
Jesus.
Yeah, and that was a hard that was a hard day at work when I went out, because I was just like, I was just thinking about like all the good times and stuff that I had. Obviously, I thought about the time he stabbed me, but
that one
yeah,
hit. That one hits close to me. I didn't because I've heard of like the stabbing story, but I didn't realize how young he was. Like, because I was quite young when I first tried to off myself.
Yeah, we hate to say it, right? But we do feel that part of the reason that he felt to do that was because of his mother.
Situation he was in. Yeah, that is
which is
undeniable.
which is really like, honestly, I felt so bad. The mother can't help how she is. She can't. She has medication to help with it, but that doesn't stop it completely.
It doesn't change the reality of the situation. So it doesn't change the reality that that's a young, impressionable child, potentially bipolar, living in that kind of situation, that sees this on a daily basis and then thinks way out.
Yeah, it's really, honestly, I felt really bad for them, because the mother wasn't a bad person, and I won't say that she was lovely because I didn't know her that well, but she was pleasant to be around for any time that like I saw her. She didn't come exclusively to the club. It was mainly just to pick up the child.
Yeah.
Because like he would come in and like obviously want to play pool, and occasionally played football in the hall and whatnot, but mainly there just kind of chill with us. And there were a few other kids there. This one wasn't really for kids, but there were a few kids that were floating about. that he made friends with and whatnot. And that one hit hard because it was so unexpected. But yeah, he'd obviously taken a bad turn with it, and had felt that this was the logical thing to do. He like not seeing another way, and he'd obviously seen his mother, and thought that this was normal.
We spoke about it briefly
Normalized
when
it.
we done the podcast and like what happened
Yeah.
to me. Like it's a case of it's an unfortunate reality when you're
Mhm.
suffering with these
Yeah.
things. When you want to go, there is frighteningly little that everyone else around you can do.
Yeah. It's really hard to kind of imagine like a kid thinking that. But it is an unfortunate reality.
Yeah.
In a sense, I think it was. Not that it really matters. I think it was. It's slightly annoying me now that I can't remember fully. Exactly what happened, but yeah, I believe it was that he saw that the best method. And because I know full well his mum had tried that.
Yeah.
Um, and it was yeah. Fortunately, it's not a pleasant story for you today, but it is a story nonetheless, and it kind of shows as well, like the nature of some of the deprived areas that we're in. That although there was support in place for this, and I think the only thing that I could say that the support workers could have done is potentially look at putting the kid in foster care because the mother was clearly struggling
Yeah.
to do it by herself. She was a single mother, and it's really difficult to say that we take the child away from the mother. It really is, but in the long run, it might have been the best option.
I don't think it's a bad or horrible thing to say at all. Like, so, unfortunate
Well,
again,
it
another
is because
unfortunate reality of some
obviously,
certain people aren't capable of looking after a child.
yeah, it's obviously at every avenue you want to try and keep the child with the mother. Absolutely, you want to try and find a way that it works.
Or father, just
Um,
like this specific.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Obviously, you want to find a way that it works.
Yeah.
But obviously, in some circumstances, and this was unfortunately one of them, where it just didn't work.
Mm.
And I think in the we had very little control. It was the child services, and no, there's not a bad word to say. They really tried to make it work with this living situation. They had put measures in place. I can't remember again. This we're talking. I was 19 at the time. So this is
Yeah.
9 years ago. This was,
God, you're old.
and shut up, man. So this was a long time ago, but it like there was I know there was measures in place and stuff like because. Well, unfortunately, there was a lot of troubling situations in this club. A lot of different people with different areas, so details sometimes I get mixed up with. But
Yeah.
I know full well there was measures in place with this one, and it obviously sticks in my mind. I mean, as it would with these kind of with this kind of situation. But listen, you know what? It's happened. Can't change it now. And I think we just kind of took learnings from it and just saying,
Yeah.
in hindsight, we should have looked at pushing foster care more. But yeah, right, team. That's that story for you. Is like I said, not the easiest one.
Mm.
But it's hopefully we can maybe see if we can get a happier one for next week.
Yeah.
For you. Well, I'll push Remy to come up with one for next week. But yes, we are now at the point of the podcast, which is known as Remy's Queries.
Oh, yes.
This is the part of the podcast where I've basically relinquished all ownership of. It is solely down to Remy to basically come up with a question or two that are thought-provoking questions that make you think about life and question your existence and question your motivations and all sorts. And the idea of this is to really make you think and hopefully give you answers to things that you didn't really think of before. So Remy, what is your query for this week?
Right, so the query itself is quite simple, but I'm gonna like delve into it a bit more. So my question for you today is, what is your purpose in life? And like what I mean by like expanding on that's like, when we are all eventually laying there on our deathbed, what is the last thing we're going to think of? Like, are we going to be happy with the decisions that we made in life? Are we a collection of things that we have done throughout our existence, or are we just a remnant of the last thing we ever did? Like, are we going to sit there and think about all the time we wasted trying to make other people happy? Or are we going to sit there and think about the things you wish you'd done to make yourself happy? Like, what is your purpose for moving forward?
Right. Okay. No worries. I understand it. I think a lot of this comes into. I think it was like KSI was talking about it a while ago, like legacy,
Mm,
in the sense of what what are the sum of your accomplishments,
mm,
and in my opinion, kind of purpose for me is never really changed. I've always wanted to help as many people as I possibly can, and the like that's why I set myself the goal of 10 grand before I'm 30. Unfortunately, COVID's thrown a right spanner in the works for that, so I don't know if I'll achieve that, but I know I'll make it as close as I bloody well can for it. And I like to like this all derived from like youth work and everything. Once you've seen people at absolute rock bottom,
mm.
and you want to try and you want to help them, but you haven't got the tools to help
Yeah,
them, that's where that derives from. And as soon as you kind of hit that, all you want to do is help. All you want to do is provide people stuff that that they're struggling to be able to provide themselves. And yeah, that's where I feel in my purpose. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, with the likes of the content creation and stuff like that, um, I want to be able to support myself. I want to be able to
yeah.
support my family, but I also want to be able to support and help a lot of other people. I think like this is a pipe dream. This I don't think I'll ever make this, but one of the things that if I was say for example, I achieved like 1 million subscribers tomorrow, got massive payouts of like a couple million and whatnot. I think one of the things I would set up is I would look at setting up another community center and
Mm.
really challenging youth work again, to make a difference in communities, because I saw the difference it made to a lot of people, and I think that's something that realistically should never have left the society like it did. Obviously, right now I go around Livingston right now, and there's not a lot for youths to do right now. There's not a lot of for young people to do, and I just think that that's just going to harbor a lot of the issues that are currently, drug use, vandalism, crime. It all stems from young people not having
An outlet.
direction or help. And I think it realistically it could be helped by having these youth. I know full well this helped a lot of people
Yeah.
at the clubs that I did. I know full well that it put people back on a path that helped. And I think that what I would do, if say if I got loads of money, I think I'd set up a community foundation or community centre for that, and also look at using the power of sport as well, and trying to help people, because I also saw the difference in sport that made to a lot of people's lives, where um playing football and stuff like that, the benefits mentally for sport is unbelievable, and I think it helps give people drive and
I think that is why it's called the
motivation and
beautiful game. It brings so many people together.
absolutely. And I should add, like, one of the statistics that does scare me a little bit is that we right now are in the least active generation ever. Right now, kids would rather play Fortnite than go to the park.
They
You
would rather sit on Twitter and post
Yeah,
some comment.
like you remember when, when we were young, we would go to, like,
Yeah,
say,
boot it out the door.
yeah,
Go
yeah,
play
yeah.
in the mud. Go get dirty.
Exactly. Like, yeah, you play like tag in the street, you play football in the street, jumpers down. You
Sit and
would
play in
find
British
things to
Bulldog.
do. Yeah, and realistically, like, I feel like the lack of sport right now is scary. Like, right now, we're locking up parks, we're locking up community centres, closing them. But like, there's a lot that UK right now is doing wrong,
Mm.
that it needs to change, because I feel like everything changes when sports involved, even if it's just
Like
like, I
the
don't know.
friendships that can be made. Not even that. The discipline. Like
Yeah.
It can set people on the like not necessarily who's to say what the right and wrong path in life is, but it can set you on a better path.
Yeah, 100%. And that's something that I would do if I had like loads of money
Mm,
tomorrow, and that's where I feel like my purpose lies. I feel like um help people achieve their goals,
mm,
um like more than even my own. That's where my kind of purpose lies. I want to be able to even from a slightly selfish point of view, I would love to say that I had a hand in someone's success. I would
yeah,
love to say, you know what,
you made
well
a
done on
difference.
them. I helped them do that, but that was down to them doing it.
Yeah,
I would love to be able to say that, even just like saying, from my own selfish point of view, the fact of saying yes, I had a hand in it, but they did it, but I know my part, and
yeah,
I did the right thing. Um, so yeah, and I think it's kind of all about that, doing the right thing and making sure that you're doing right by other people,
mm,
as well. So yeah, my purpose lies in helping other people. I think that's the short answer, but obviously I've given the kind of long one as
yeah.
well. What about yourself?
Mine isn't too dissimilar, um, but from a different perspective, based off of a lot of the things that I've went through in life and a lot of the things that I've seen other people go through in life. I, I, I sort of like uh, uh, unconsciously take like the role of like an educator in people's lives. Like I always try to, because one problem I do see with a lot, especially young people, young people, and I'm using that quite a lot with my position in management now. That I'm able to like talk to a lot of younger people, be it like staff and employees. Like people are very narrow minded. People are very like they're very tunnel vision these days. So they hear one thing that they like online, and they sort of just run with it. Like I always try to, whether you agree or disagree with somebody else's opinion, I do think it's like because there's a lot of things out there that I really do not agree with on a personal and moral level, but as a human being, as an individual, you have that right to have that opinion. And I think people need to realize that there's more than one way to live. So I often try to like explain to people that there are many different avenues that you can walk down. If you just choose to ignore an entire group of people, you're shutting off a part of your life that maybe could educate you, that could help you, that can make you think better. Like nobody really wants to have a conversation that falls out of the zone of comfort. So if I can put myself on the firing line, if I can take the heat so that somebody else can say maybe he's got a point. Maybe I should be more open minded with a lot of things going on in the world. Like and that can help. Because what I often spend a lot of time doing with friends or with employees is I like talking to them about their problems. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like people find it very easy to open up to me for some reason, probably because I'm autistic. They find it very easy to like be personal with me, and instead of asking them how they feel, I ask them like, "Well, why did this happen? Why do you feel this way?" Like, because asking somebody how they feel, I feel like is a bit redundant. Ask
Do you feel
getting
do
somebody.
you feel like maybe like you wanted to become a therapist,
Well,
but maybe not quite?
I did study psychology. I dropped
Mm-hmm.
out, but um,
Mm-hmm.
yes and no. Yes, because I feel like I have a tremendous ability of to listen and understand. Because when you're on the spectrum, quite often what comes inside alongside that is something known as hyper empathy. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people on the spectrum have a unique ability to understand how somebody else is feeling. So I feel like I do have a very and quite often like because I will always advise somebody. Personally, I don't like therapists. Personally, but I've advised a lot of people to go and see them, like my partner included. It didn't work for me, but it works for a lot of people, and it's working for Gasha right now. Um, and quite often, and again, Gasha as a prime example, comes back to me and said, like, a lot of most of the things that I'm saying, I'm getting told the exact same thing. But again, I am not a professional. Uh, Go and seek actual professional advice. I can only give people my opinions.
Yeah, the
on
professional
things.
people can prescribe you drugs.
Yeah, I
so-
can't. I can't prescribe anything. At the end of the day, I'm just a bloke who can tell you my thoughts.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, he knows the guy, but
yeah.
So
Well, yeah. We all know a guy. Everybody knows a guy.
yeah, yeah.
I've heard-
Or women,
or
It's
women. Yeah,
twi-
no women. We're equal opportunities
or
with
they.
dealers.
You know they.
They,
is it-
yes. Anybody,
yes.
anybody can deal drugs. You
Yes,
shouldn't.
obviously.
You shouldn't.
I feel like we're taking the wrong stance here.
That's the right stance. You shouldn't.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, you shouldn't.
I feel like inclusion would quite happily take a step over that one, to be honest.
Yeah, but no, I feel like I like the idea of taking like the educator role, and like that's my purpose. Like I like to educate people, be it as a therapeutic or just in situations and topics that people tend to be quite ignorant about.
Oh, that's fair. Right, too. It's up to you. Do you want to ask the second one, or do you think it's bit one best saved for another time?
I feel like, well, but no, I'll ask it.
Okay, go for it.
Would you rather marry someone that's rich that you absolutely hate, or marry somebody that you love but you will forever remain poor?
I mean, the second one.
Now, I feel like a lot of people would answer the first one. Because you can't buy happiness, but like you said before, you'd rather cry in your Lamborghini than your Skoda.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with Skoda.
Hmm.
I mean, it's also what you define as poor as well.
Well,
Like, not to get that deep, to be honest, but like money wise poor. Like, say if I was to say in the job I am right now,
living paycheck to paycheck.
yeah, it's less than ideal and it creates a lot of stress. But I feel like I was with someone that I'd hate. I think it's one of the reasons why I'm not with somebody right now is I'm kind of very, very, very picky in many ways, which seems bizarre. Because you look at me and like, you can't, you're picky. You sure you can afford to be picky? And it's it's kind of catch food. I could do everything I want with the money and pretty much never see that person, but at the same time, it's kind of like where you find value, where you find it in the money or you find it with people. So it's
Well, let's not forget, like, it's still an active practice to this day where quite a lot of people get married based off of money.
yeah, like
business.
obviously
as well.
there's the term gold digger and stuff like that, and it's whether or not you're comfortable with that. If you're comfortable with that, that's fine. Personally, I'm not.
I'm not okay with it either. Oh, by the way, a gold digger can be a man or a woman. So just like, isn't it? Or in between.
Yeah, like, gold person. So yeah, absolutely, you can. It's what you're comfortable with at that point. I personally not, but it's down to the individual. To be honest with you, I think I've not really got much more to say on it. To be honest,
fair.
I think it's. Yeah, I feel like that's a good one to ask because I don't think if that was the whole Remy's query, I think we'd struggle to fill that one.
No, there's a good reason I went with the other one.
Yeah. So that the other one was better. That one a bit of a short answer.
Yeah.
Pretty much no. It would be the poor forever kind of one.
Fair enough.
But yeah, ITO team. Right. So that's us finished for this podcast today. If you please do hit that subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube. If you are listening to this on Spotify, Apple Music, Enhance TV, make sure you're following the podcast.
And share it with your friends.
Yes, share it with your friends. All one of them. Wait, what? Sorry, what? So I've just insulted one viewer. So
3. Be generous.
see when you laugh at your own jokes. That's when you know you're having a great time. So team,
Or a sign of mental illness.
go like the podcast if you want, or hate on me. I don't care. Do what you want. Adios, team. Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Toodles.
See you later. It's all conspiracy. Bye bye.